Red Bull has lost another super important person from their team, Jonathan Wheatley. It looks like the team is starting to fall apart, and they're trying to rebuild their whole team from nothing, which is really hard to do without going through some really tough times. Both Wheatley and another guy named Newey worked for Red Bull since 2006. So after 18 years of knowing how to do their jobs really well, it would be hard to think that the team can just find someone new and act like those guys were never there at all. This is especially true when we look at how Red Bull got worse ever since Newey said he was quitting with this happening. Could Max be the next person to leave? And if that happens, is Red Bull really falling apart? It's pretty obvious that these recent changes in Red Bull are not what they wanted to happen, especially with 10 races left and both championships still not won yet. Not only might they lose second place in the team championship, but with Mercedes doing really well lately, Red Bull could drop to third place. Maybe even fourth place if Ferrari fixes their car problems during summer break. This is mostly because they kept a driver named Perez who isn't doing very well for the last 10 races. When they should have replaced him, when people asked about Wheatley leaving, Red Bull said they would keep going forward without too much trouble. They wrote an official statement saying it has been a long and successful friendship with Jonathan over 18 years. His help in winning 6 team championships and 7 driver championships, first as team manager and lately as sporting director, will forever be remembered in our team history. Everyone at Oracle Red Bull Racing and Red Bull Technology wishes him the best in his new job and would like to thank Jonathan. However, we must move on, and we will tell everyone about our new team setup in the coming weeks because we have amazing strength and many good people, and this gives us a chance to promote others within the team. Even though they say this, having 2 very important people in your team leave all of a sudden is definitely going to be shocking. This happened after an internal investigation against Horner, and after that, the British guy has seemingly taken more control of the team. This has been what made Newey want to leave, while Wheatley probably left his job after the final straw, which was Red Bull changing their minds about Perez's future after the Belgian race. The Verstappen family has been told that Max will have a new teammate starting from a certain race onward, and we've seen him and Ricciardo together in a helicopter, drinking champagne and celebrating something with huge smiles on their faces. This happened one day after Horner went out to say that Perez will stay as Red Bull's driver and the team will do everything they can to make sure that Perez will perform at the level they want. They even said they'd push the car towards something that he would like better as a driving style, which is definitely not what everybody expected from Red Bull. This is a team that used to promote drivers with talent, a team that fired drivers who weren't performing well in a really harsh way. But when it comes to Perez, nothing makes sense for the team anymore. Not only has this situation made Wheatley think about and actually complete leaving the team, but it's also put a very big question mark over Verstappen's future with the team as well. The current chief technical officer is angry with Horner and his decision to keep Perez on the team because not only is he not performing well and costing them a lot of speed, but he is crashing the car and causing massive amounts of money damage to the team. This prevents more upgrades from being made for the car. What's also worth mentioning is that before he left, Newey said that there are a lot of things that he didn't like about the RB20 car, and because he didn't have as much power as he did in the past, he couldn't change it in any way. The fact that the engineers and executives in this department continued without listening to Newey, especially in the area of cooling the car, shows there have been a lot of disagreements in the team and definitely a huge reason for Newey to make sure that he won't be part of an environment like this. As a matter of fact, Perez is actually one of the worst drivers when it comes to this, having already caused around 3.5 million euros in damage costs, which is a lot of money when you think about that. Teams have to work under a strict budget limit of $135 million or around 130 million euros. So the technical officer has every right to be unhappy with the team's decision to keep Perez. When talking about why he isn't performing the way that everybody was expecting, which was more or less what he showed in the first 5 races of the season, the technical officer said, "I don't know, it's difficult to say. I think it's partly our fault for sure, and it's what we have to do to try and help him get the best out of the car. I have some feedback from him and we will try to help him. The point is not only thinking about how he feels in the car, sometimes he is just unlucky. It's what happened in some qualifying sessions that could affect the overall result of the race. I think we are all trying to understand what he struggles with or what characteristics and balance could help him. What is now easy to understand is that Red Bull has been heavily influenced by another side regarding the Perez contract. Whether that is Liberty Media or Carlos Slim, the man who owns Telmex and Telcel, two of the main sponsors behind Red Bull, and Perez, it's something that's putting the team in a lot of danger of losing. Verstappen next. The three-time world champion was promised one thing, and the team failed to do what they said they would do. A couple of days later, they saw the sporting director of the team leave. Keep in mind that this is the man who has been behind Red Bull's talks with the FIA for most of his time at Red Bull. And he has been the one who applied pressure for the 2021 Abu Dhabi race to have one full lap of clean racing. Red Bull has lost a lot. And the question is now whether or not Verstappen will be the next falling piece starting from 2025 onward, as he would have to make a quick decision now that it's more than clear that their car is not giving nearly the same performance as they would have hoped for. He's basically accepting that now as a fact, even though Verstappen refused to believe that the car has reached its limit and you always have to work for more. His latest statement shows otherwise. It looks like he's come to accept the fact that Red Bull is no longer the most powerful force, and as a matter of fact, they are now basically the third fastest car on the track behind McLaren and Mercedes, or at least that will be the case for the rest of the 10 races we have in 2024. Talking more about this situation, Verstappen went on to say, "You are always searching for more performance, but sometimes you have to be realistic. Maybe there isn't more to be found, but it's just trying to stay at that level, even though it's incredibly hard. We are not robots." I know it's tough to not compare ourselves to last year's performance, but it's just how it goes, right? To operate at that level, it's maybe something that we'll look back on in 20 years' time, and everyone may appreciate a little bit more of what we did as a team. For me, even now, maybe we don't have the quickest car. It doesn't really change the mentality. We are always trying to get back to that level. Furthermore, it looks like McLaren is now going to push for more upgrades, as even Norris has thrown dirt toward the Austrian team by saying that they have messed up by keeping Perez and not signing someone like Sainz. For example, it was a much better option for them in terms of racing, even though this is true. McLaren is now more than happy to take advantage of these changes in Red Bull, even though their strategies have been questionable to say the least. McLaren is now sure that they can fight Red Bull a lot more in the upcoming period and take away their first place in the team championship, a 42-point lead that is everything but a solid lead for the Austrian team. Talking more about this, Andrea Stella went on to say, "I'm surprised that we've been so competitive considering that from Miami onward we haven't actually brought trackside many new parts. Obviously the Miami upgrade was big, but there are some upgrades that will come in the second part of the season. I would expect that for the second part of the season we will have at multiple times some new parts. Red Bull has taken more trackside developments so far in terms of physical parts delivered than we have. With all this in mind, do you think that there is a process in Red Bull, an unavoidable one that they must go through before they're competitive again? And furthermore, do you think Verstappen would be the next domino piece to fall? Let us know what you're thinking down in the comments below, and once you've done that, have a look at the video that's appearing on your screen right now.